Welcome to the Lights On Show. I'm your host, Jacob Morissette, and this is the podcast where we talk about self-development. In today's episode, I talk about understanding true success, the difference between being busy and being productive, and moving in the right direction. If you like this show, be sure to drop a rating on whatever platform you're on and follow us on Twitter at lights_show. Hope you enjoy. So something that I've noticed, especially in the lifetime that I've had in this 21st century, is this idea and notion that hustle and, overworking yourself and working 14 hours a day is going to automatically equal you success and happiness. This typical 9-to-5 job and working super hard and kissing butt and doing all this stuff to make all this money, and then all of a sudden you're gonna be happy. You're gonna be able to look at all your peers and say, yeah, I'm successful. And frankly, that's not the case. There's just so much into what true success and happiness is. It's not one measurable thing. It dictates between every person. So let's say what I think is success is going to be vastly different than someone such as Will Smith, who frankly has, some would say, all the money in the world, or someone like Bill Gates, who has tons and tons of money. But you know what keeps these people truly happy is not the money. It's what they have done with their life. You look at someone like Bill Gates, and yeah, he has the nicest house in Washington State, and he's the second richest man in the world. And frankly, if he wanted to do something, he could do it, right? Like, he can just go for it, right? But it's not the fact that he's done that. It's the fact that with all of his wealth and with all of his, as seen now, happiness, he's given it. And he's been able to do things to build a character around and to then be happy. He just doesn't give his kids everything they want. And I think I read an article about this, but how he's not going to give any of his kids he's not going to be giving them tons of money and just allowing them to just be filthy rich for no reason. He's going to make them work for it and make them develop themselves as a person of society, and figure out who they want to be and what's going to make them truly happy. And that's because as a person, he had to do that too. We look at all these superstars and just think that we can't be like that. We look at them and we just see envy. And, that's okay to look and envy at someone, but if you're not going to do anything about it, then in some way it is wrong. Because I always say this, and I'm not sure if anyone else says this, but I always say we're all equal. No one is actually better than someone else. They just work harder. A lot of people try to look up and envy of me. Not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but I'm able to succeed in DECA projects. And if you guys don't know what DECA is, it's pretty much just like a business role play kind of thing where we get judged and evaluated based on how we do. And I get a lot of people like, oh man, you're just so DECA, you're just so good at that, and you're so good at all your classwork, and you're so good at talking and public speaking. I just wish I could be like you. And I tell them, you can be. There's no actual difference between you and I. I just try harder, and I push myself towards different things than maybe you do. So everyone has a push and a pull. Everyone has something that makes them different. So just being able to understand that will help you to just understand that this idea of just a straight hustle and this one-size-fits-all notion for success cannot be put on everyone. Everyone is a different piece of the puzzle, and you can't keep sticking the same corner piece on everyone, acting like it's going to work. That perfectly ties into this idea of being busy and being productive are the same thing. I read the book, The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, and he really kind of digs deep into the way people are perceiving this, I'm always busy, I'm always working on this project, I must be productive, right? But if you think about it, if you are being busy and you're sitting there combing your hair for a job interview, right? Let's think about this a little bit. When you are able to almost manipulate your own mindset on thinking that, I'm combing my hair for a job interview, that's you playing a trick on yourself, saying that, oh, me spending this amount of time because it's a job interview is me being productive. And frankly, it's not. That does just not equal that. It's like saying 1 equals 2. That's just frankly not the case. Being busy, yeah, you can just be busy, but it does not mean that you're being productive. Being productive would be, okay, you do take the shower, you do comb your hair, you put on a nice suit or whatever dress that you need, but you spend the rest of your time, instead of making sure that one minute aspect is going to be, essential to the task that you need to get done, it's just not going to be truly productive. Being truly productive is doing the task or doing the thing that you need to have happen, and it's taking the most important parts of it and actually doing them. If you're writing an essay, you're not going to spend an entire 15 minutes making sure that you have the absolute 100% perfect little hook sentence. You really want to make sure that your body paragraphs are going to be where it's at. You want to devote all your time and effort into something that's really going to be important in the task you're trying to get done. And that's true productivity. And then we get these people that now have this idea of just doing things at all times of the day, even if it's not actually being intuitive to what you need to have done. Then you just have all these people that are continually doing things that aren't actually going to make them happy or productive on any of these things, And some of the other books I've read, they talk about, you can't be a jack of all trades. You truly have to it sounds bad to limit yourself, but you have to limit yourself, because with this notion of hustle and, success and happiness, now we have all these people that are taking in all this hustle. They're taking the hustle and they're plugging it in with busy, and like, boom, okay, look at me, I'm productive, I'm going to be happy, and I'm productive, and I can show off to all my friends and all this other stuff. And then that's where they get to the point where now they're pushing themselves too far, and honestly not in the right direction. So what I mean by the right direction is everyone is different. That's what makes us all the same, right? That's a huge little cliche quote that we always hear. What makes us all the same is that we're all so different. And when you, again, put that one-size-fits-all hustle and push on yourself, you're just going to over-push yourself into something that, one, you don't like, and two, isn't going to work with the way that you work as a person. And so then we have just people that are picking jobs that are not suited well for them. They're going to end up being miserable, but they have this whole society telling them that they're going to be okay with that and that they should be happy regardless. And that's where you reach the too far point. And where I think most people should try to reevaluate is the reasons why they're pushing themselves. So, I think a perfect example is me right now. I'm pushing myself to try to get this podcast done. And the explanation I have for that is I love learning. And just about everything I do has to be evolved around learning of some sort. And yeah, I'm pushing myself really hard. Right now in high school, I'm taking AP Chemistry, AP U.S. Government Politics, Computer Science course. I'm taking the student store at my school. So it's just a store that all the students run, and we're able to make money, and we have to manage inventory, manage funds, and sell and those other things. And I'm also taking pre-calculus class with the university to get college credit. And so I am really pushing myself in this aspect. But it's all for this unique puzzle piece I've given myself of learning and bettering myself and getting more knowledge and all these other things, that it almost makes it okay, right? But I've also determined that this too far point is me having a full-time, part-time job. What I mean is, I have a consistent part-time job throughout the school year or throughout whatever time, that's just pushing it too far. And it's also this idea that I had, earlier this year, that if I hustle and work hard enough, no matter what, I'll be successful. And I had to realize that kind of the hard way with that job is just because I was making money, I really was not happy. I'm so much more happier sitting here, even though this is the first episode and I don't really know what I'm doing, But just sitting here and trying to talk and learn it and talk it out and think of different ideas and just kind of put the pen to the paper and really get my ideas out there, not only for you guys, but for me too. Like, I want to learn a lot from this. And so I've been able to kind of find that balance with pushing myself and obviously not going too far, but also pushing myself in the right direction, because I'm trying to like be rude or anything, but a lot of people are pushing themselves in the wrong direction. And, obviously not everyone is going to figure out what they want to do or who they want to be. For some people, it takes them to like they're 22 years old or 20 years old, or maybe they figure it out freshman year in high school, or maybe they figure it out when they're in college, right before they're about to get a different major. And frankly, it's not the fact that you don't have your idea figured out of what you want to do in life. It's the fact that if you never find it, then you're just smoked. It's almost essential to just find out who you are. And so I encourage any of you listening that if you don't truly know who you are, a lot of people give kind of a half crap answer, when your parents ask, oh, what do you want to do when you grow up? And everyone just says, I just want to go to business, or I want to go to film school, or I'm just going to start my own company, or I'll just work at McDonald's, but don't lie to yourself, because eventually when you say it enough times, your brain is automatically going to start adjusting to that answer and adjusting to the fact of, oh, I'm okay, because, your brain doesn't want to be stressed. And so it'll do kind of whatever it has to do in order to kind of, calm that down, even if that means lying to yourself. So I encourage you, or, if you know anyone, tell them not to lie to themselves. Tell them to truly figure out what they want to do and kind of what makes them tick. And what wakes them up in the morning and gets them excited and makes them want to kind of, go out there and get it done. And then that way, when you do find it, eventually, you'll be able to push yourself in that right direction. And if you are in that limbo state of what you don't want to do, go for it. Go work at McDonald's, or go to community college if you don't want to fully invest in $100,000 plus education that we have in the United States. No one says you have to go to a 4-year university. If that's something that you want to do, and that's something that you think is going to help you to find yourself, go for it. If you think that working at McDonald's or working at Wendy's is going to be able to help you develop and kind of figure out what you kind of want to do, kind of get your lights turned on, or get the clock spinning a little bit, go for it. That's something that you might need to do. But don't think of that as a failure. Think of that as you're trying and you will get it. Because where there's a will, there's a way. And eventually you will be able to understand kind of the things that kind of make you happy. For example, you're working at McDonald's and you like to cook and you like to be in the cooking position, even though it's just fast food and you're just kind of making pre-made hamburgers. But if you do that for a couple months and you kind of start to enjoy it, maybe that starts to click something in your brain and you're like, man, I'm going to go to culinary school. And then as you do all this research in culinary school, then you really just start getting in depth, and you start to really enjoy it. And so that way, then you can start pushing yourself in the right direction, and then apply the other principles I talked about, and just don't do it too hard. Do it at a pace that you're able to control. And I'm not trying to bag on anyone, depending on how hard you worked in high school or what you've done in the past or how hard you are working. Whenever you are a worker, but if you know that maybe you don't have the work ethic that the person that you want to be like in your industry, take the baby steps to get there. If you just try to go all out and, just try to go super fast speed and just overload your workload, you're just gonna end up burning yourself out and just deterring yourself and feeling automatically disappointed when you do eventually fail, because everyone will fail eventually. We humans, we develop ourselves by our failures and by learning from those failures and not making them again. So if you set yourself up to fail by just going super hardcore right off the bat, you're going to hit a lot of little bumps and a lot of little failures that eventually are going to add up and potentially hurt you. Whereas if you go slower, not even a lot slower, just a little bit slower, and you'll still have the same bumps roughly, but they'll be a little bit more spaced out so they don't hurt you as much. And then as you kind of hit those bumps, then you start to develop this advanced technique of whatever you need to do, and then you can just go full speed again, and then you can become what you truly want to do. So just to kind of wrap this up, by no stretch of the imagination am I saying do not push yourself. I'm a huge advocate for self-development and, self-learning and pushing yourself to the limits that you can reach. But, that's what I'm talking. I think that's the real keynote is you go to where you can reach. You don't take the leap of faith that is going to inevitably lead to your death. Find who you are, whether that take you however many months or however many years. Have a plan in order to at least try to find yourself. And when you do, steer yourself in the right direction and push yourself in a healthy and organized way. So that way you can be happy and you won't have that unnecessary stress or anxiety that will take you over the limit and put you back in this notion of hustle equals success. Thank you so much for listening, guys. I hope you enjoyed. And if you guys want to support the show, please leave a like or a rating, like a little comment rating thing on iTunes or Spotify, whatever you guys are listening to. Be greatly appreciated. It helps me out a lot. It helps me know that I'm doing something helpful for you guys. And also follow me on Twitter on lights_show, or you can probably just search it at the Lights On Show. That's where I want to communicate with you guys. So it'd be great if you guys went to that. And thank you so much. You guys have a beautiful day. Goodbye.